Microphone check 1 2 1 2. This is your host, not son, baby. And this is another episode of Swingers After Dark. I want to talk to the family right quick. I want to follow up from the last episode when I talked about passing out herpes at swing parties. And I just want to bring forth clarity. I want to clear the air. And I just want to follow up so everybody could be on the same page. You feel me? Now, this topic is not only pertinent to people in the swing lifestyle, but it's also important to the everyday John and Jane, people who are not in the swinger lifestyle. This topic could affect people in the lifestyle and people outside of the lifestyle. It affects people worldwide. You understand me? So, I just want to break down the difference between knowingly affecting somebody with an STD or an STI versus not disclosing your health status, not disclosing your STD or STI status. Now, STI meaning sexually transmitted infection and STD meaning sexually transmitted disease. You understand? So, you do not have to disclose your status before, I'm going to say that again, before you engage in sexual intercourse. However, there's a caveat. If you have something like HIV or AIDS, if you have HIV or AIDS, then you have to tell your partner even beforehand, because HIV and AIDS, they're a motherfucker. You feel me? Like 1 minute you could be good, and then the next minute you contract the shit and you're on your motherfucking deathbed because you have instant AIDS. You understand me? So, you do not have to disclose your status unless, depending on the state, you have AIDS or HIV. But for the most part, you don't have to disclose that. You don't have to tell somebody that, you may be dating somebody, you may be courting somebody. You don't have to tell them your status. On the flip side of that, and this is when I want to cease the confusion. On the flip side of that, if you have something and you knowingly infect somebody, then that's when it becomes illegal. That's when the criminality comes into part. Because when you know you're about to engage in sexual intercourse, then you have to tell that person. You feel me? You have to disclose that information, especially when y'all about to go raw. You have to disclose that information. Now, beforehand, you did not have to disclose that information. Before you engage in sexual intercourse, you didn't have to disclose that information. But after, you come to a certain point in your relationship with a person, whether it's a one-night stand, whether it's, y'all just casually having sex, when you establish that moment that y'all about to have sex, then you have to disclose that information. And when you knowingly infect somebody and that person doesn't know that, you have something and y'all having raw sex, then that's when it becomes criminal. That's when it becomes illegal. You understand where I'm coming from? So I think that's where the confusion lies in regards to the last episode when I talked about passing out herpes. People was like, nah, son, I'm confused. You're playing on words. Listen, motherfuckers, I shouldn't have to, record a follow-up episode. But, for the sake of the community, I have to clear the misconception of what I was saying. I don't like to be misconstrued for the most part. So I just want to say there's a difference between, knowingly infecting somebody with an STD or an STI versus, not disclosing your sexual history, your information, your status. And not for nothing, family, you really got to vet your partners. You have to vet your partners because somebody can have some shit and y'all having raw sex and they don't give a fuck about you. They don't even give a fuck about themselves. When you deal with people who have nothing to lose, that's dangerous because a person who has nothing to lose don't see a future. They don't overlook their tomorrows. So when they don't overlook their tomorrows, then it's like they playing Russian roulette with themselves and with you. And you trust this person. You figure, well, this person, this person loved me. Or whatever the case, you falling in love while the other person is falling in lust. That person just want a nut. You know what I'm saying? That person doesn't give a fuck about you at the end of the day. that person is grimy, 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 and that person just want a nut. So you gotta vet your partners. You gotta vet your partners to see if that person is right. You feel me? Now, we're living in the era of social media. People may portray themselves one way on social media, but outside of the matrix of the internet, they may be another way. However, I'm a type of person that, a red flag, I'm at a certain age where red flags are deal breakers because I don't have time to figure out whether you're perpetrating a fraud on social media or, this is who you are for real. And I said all that to say, I'm not saying you should judge people, but when people portray themselves on social media, when you think that they're reckless on social media, who's to say that they're not reckless in their sexual life by how they carry themselves? You feel me? Because, words are spells. You feel me? Words are spells. That's why you get the spelling. Words are spells. And when you put certain energy out in the universe, then you have to expect that energy to come back to you. And I said all that to say, sometimes you got to judge because self-preservation is the first law of nature. And some people don't give a fuck about your preservation. You feel me? So you got to take people for face value. Because, there's all types of grimy motherfuckers out here. There's all types of diseases and viruses and people don't give a fuck. They know they got the shit, but not only they don't tell you, but they knowingly give it to you because they're reckless as fuck. So it's up to you, family, to figure out if this person is worth the risk. Because a lot of people with STDs and STIs, they have this logic, this mentality to where they may say, okay, so this is their logic. They thinking, since you didn't ask them for paperwork, since you didn't ask them for their blood work, then you don't give a fuck about yourself. So if you don't give a fuck about yourself, then why should they give a fuck about you? That's their logic. You understand? So if you're not asking somebody for paperwork, then you're fair game. You understand? So you have people who think that way. You know what I'm saying? And not for nothing, like I said in the last episode, you do not have to lie about your STD status because there are people who will fuck you regardless. Real talk. There are people who will fuck you regardless. They don't give a fuck. Two people who don't give a fuck about themselves, that's a match made in hell, baby. Real talk. That's a match made in hell. That's a marriage. Two people who don't give a fuck about each other, but you have people who don't give a fuck either way. So I'm going to bring this home. Family, there's a difference between knowingly infecting somebody with an STD or an STI versus not disclosing your STD history or health status before you engage in sexual intercourse. You do not have to tell somebody your status before you engage in sexual intercourse unless in certain states you have AIDS or HIV. On the flip side of that, when you have something and you don't disclose that information when you're about to have sex with that person, then it becomes criminal. Then it becomes illegal. There's the before and after effect. You feel me? There's a before and after effect. Like if I'm dating this chick, and we going out, I'm courting her. I don't have to tell her shit. I don't have to tell her anything. I don't have to tell her whether or not I got something. But when we're about to, hit them sheets, when I'm about to bust them cheeks, I have to tell her right then and there. You feel me? Like I'm not obligated to tell her before we establish some sort of, I like you, you like me type shit. But as soon as, the lights are out, or if you like to fuck with the lights on, the lights are out, I take off my clothes, she take off hers, then that's when I got to say, look, baby, I got XYZ, I got this, I got that. What's good? That's when you got to tell your partner. But you got a lot of people, they're weaponizing sex. You know what I'm saying? They're genocidal with their sex on some Christopher Columbus shit. You know what I'm saying? When the fucking colonizers damn near wiped out Native Americans with the smallpox. That's what people are doing nowadays. They're getting their Christopher Columbus on, and they don't give a fuck about you because they don't give a fuck about themselves. So family, be careful. It's a cold world. Wear a Snuggie and, protect yourself, protect your neck. You understand? Because there's every man for themselves. And nowadays, there's no honor amongst thieves. You feel me? So I hope I clarified this episode, the difference between knowingly infecting somebody versus not disclosing your history, not disclosing your status. I hope I clarify. I hope we got like an understanding. I hope, we seen eye to eye on this because there's a difference. You feel me? And on that note, this has been another episode of Swingers After Dark. Oh, one more thing. I'm going to leave a link in the description box so you could do your own research, so you could, get some information about this topic, because I think that it's my duty to bring forth my sources when I speak on certain subjects. So just check out the description box and click the link and, get your read on. You feel me? And on that note, this has been another episode of Swingers After Dark. And this is your host, Not Son, baby. Check out my website at www.notsonblaze.com. That's www.nahsunblaze.com. And check out my ebook, You, Me, Us, Them, The Swinger Manifesto. Why? Because I'm going to make you say, na, 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 ow. Check it out. It's a good read. Summer's about to get here. Fuck summer. It's good. It's a good read for 4 seasons, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? So, just check out my ebook, check out my website, and, just Google me, send me a friend request, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Tumblr, all that good shit. Just Google me, Not Son. And, I'm about to get out this bitch, And on that note, family, be safe out there. Be cool and safe out there. Until next time. Peace.